Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm the High Pop Professor. Today, I'd like to showcase my small but very meaningful Barry Bonds PC. As many of you know, my father was spent 35 years being a massive Barry Bonds super collector, and being the son of a super collector does have its perks. And a number of those cards, as he was moving them along and liquidating a large portion of his collection, and he still is in the process of doing that. There were a handful of cards that I requested that he send my way instead, and so a portion of these are really just me being a steward of some of those cards. But these are cards that have meant a lot to our family. They continue to mean a lot to me, and I'm excited to showcase what I've got here. And again, it's not a very sizable collection. I do have 3 or 4 just binder pages of some base Barry Bonds cards I collected growing up. And I'll just be showing some of the more significant pieces or ones that I like in this video. So I'll turn the camera around and let's enjoy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start this off in chronological order. And we'll start with his rookie cards from 86 and 87. So Bonds had a couple rookie cards in 86. He had a Donruss the Rookies, which is right here. I actually just had a PSA 9 of this card. And I went ahead and moved it along because I had this really nice raw copy. And I didn't feel like I needed a duplicate. I felt like I didn't actually need the PSA graded one, and so I moved it along. And I think that this card probably would grade out to maybe an 8, maybe a 9, somewhere in there. Really good, clean card. But it's funny, I think most people prefer his Topps traded rookie from 86, which I had also in a Beckett 9, but likewise I moved that one along also. I wasn't really happy with the condition of that Beckett 9. It had kind of a soft corner, and so I'm looking to upgrade that at some point. So this is actually the only 86 card I have. I no longer have the Topps traded, and at one point I had a Fleer Update 86, and I might consider getting one of those later. But the nice thing about these 80s, late 80s cards, they're really not in short supply, and so those I don't feel like there's a rush or a pinch or anything to acquire those at this time. So moving on to 87, we have a couple that I think are just fantastic here. Let's go ahead and start with this one, and this one here is the 87 Classic, and this was a gift actually from Adam at the Vintage Sanctuary. He went ahead and was super generous, sent me a care package and this awesome 87 Classic, beautiful yellow border. This is in a stunning mint 9 from PSA. And this one has the yellow back. There exists a green back version as well, that I believe is slightly tougher to get, but boy, is this a gorgeous beauty. Man, look at that thing. Yeah, not really one of those more mainstream rookie cards. This one falls into that sort of a slightly higher tier of obscurity, along with the sport flicks that you'll sometimes see. My personal favorite of his Bonds rookie cards, this card, I always just really love this 87 Donruss set. Really have just a really soft spot for it. Really tough to find centered. Really tough to find with good corners, with the dark borders. Just super condition sensitive. And I'm very pleased with this. This is a BGS 9. And I just love this card. What's kind of funny is that the orientation of the back changes whether or not you have a factory set version of this card or a pack-pulled one. And I can't remember exactly which orientation is which, but if you compare them side by side, you'll see that one of them appears to be sort of the wrong orientation when you turn that upside down. All right, but a close second for my favorite design here has to be this 87 Fleer. And this is a really cool card because I remember actually sort of being in the car watching my dad open some 87 Fleer packs, because of course the big chase was Bonds, but also Will Clark. And I think there was one pack he got both of them in the same pack, which is just crazy. And so all of us, my brother was there too. Iconic how we were all flipping out as he pulled. Now this isn't the exact same copy. This is a different one that met my eye and pleased my eye. 87 Fleer. But a lot of memories associated with these kinds of cards. And this is in a beautiful CSG Mint 9. All right, moving on to some of the larger rookie cards. Now, one of the things I like to try to do in my collection, I do try to go for Diamond King autographs, but Barry Bonds is, well, he's one of the more difficult autographs to track down on any specific card, let alone a Diamond King. And so in light of that not being available, I still wanted a Barry Bonds autograph, and so I managed to track down this one. And so here's a really cool 87 Topps. I do consider both 86s and 87s to be rookie cards. And this is just a really great example of his early Pirates rookie era signature. Very distinctive, the pointy sharp B's, the little S that isn't really an S, but just a big loop kind of. And it's, yeah, it's a really, really tough card to get that's in fairly good shape and with an autograph that's pretty bold and easy to, you know, clean autograph. And just really excited about this card. I was able to track this one down and super pumped about that one. So put that there. And then I will say though that my favorite one, I think my favorite one that I've got here, let me get a top loader to put behind this one to sit it up a little bit. There we go. I will say though that I know I said my favorite one was the Donruss, but I have to at least make a little addendum to this and talk about the the 87 Donruss opening day set card. This is an error featuring Johnny Ray's picture, and this was a set that was only released. It was only released as a complete full set, so you couldn't. This was not pack pulled. It was just a full boxed set. And what's cool about this card is that, you know, not only is that, you know, a rookie card for Barry Bonds, but it was a corrected error, much like the Frank Thomas no name on front. With this one, the only about 2% they estimate got out the door before they halted the presses, fixed the error card, and then resumed. So very tough. The way that the cards were packaged, the corners are almost always going to be somewhat slightly rounded if you look really, really closely. And so, yeah, there's no ding involved here or anything, but this is just how the corners are on these cards. So this is a really great copy. This is a Beckett 8.5. This is an old BGS 8.5. You can tell because the subgrades are on the back, and you can tell the serial number has got quad zeros on there. So really, really, really old. Back when they had, I think, very harsh criteria for grading. And so this is just a beautiful, gorgeous card. I absolutely love this thing. It's got a little centering left to right, but that's not a huge deal. I think it's kind of funny. What I think bothers me a little bit more about this is that they encapsulated a piece of fuzz inside the holder. So that little piece on the border is not on the card, but it's a piece of fuzz, just a little debris that's trapped in the holder. But what's also kind of funny, so this is a card that was from my father's collection, the JM collection. Let's go ahead and put this over here. And what's also funny about this is that what also came with this is this is actually the printed out eBay like auction webpage from when this was won. And so it's kind of neat because you can actually see on this really old, this is what the eBay page used to look like back in 2002. And we can see here's the error card. You see the winning bid at that time, what that was. You can very confidently stick a 1 in front of that number, I think, for what it would be worth today. So quite a nice appreciation, but pretty crazy that, you know, it's kind of a fun little relic that, that accompanies this card. But yeah, you can see he won this in an auction over, what is that, 22 years ago. So that stays with this card. Okay, so moving along, out of the 80s, like I said, my Bonds collection is not that large quantity-wise, but I like cards that speak to me, cards that have a story, and cards that are meaningful for both me and for the hobby. And so here's a really cool one, 91 Donruss Elite. And so the 91 Donruss Elite, you know, being one of the first mainstream serial numbered insert cards. These cards, were such an impact in this hobby. They were so tough to find. And I know, nowadays we think of, number out of 10,000, my gosh, that's, how could those be rare or in demand or worth anything, the number of 10,000? Yeah, you have to remember what the print runs were like, though. Consider how many of these cases are still to this day remain sealed. And it's pretty crazy to think about that. So proportionally, they were very, very difficult to pull. And Bonds was arguably one of the best ones in there. I mean, Nolan Ryan was in there too as a Legends series, number that of 7,500, but Bonds was, I think, probably the best one he could have gotten out of there. And it's cool, yeah, Dick Perez was the one who designed these early Donruss Elite cards, not just this set, but 92 as well, and we'll look at a few other ones. But I absolutely love these early Donruss Elite. Very important, significant for the hobby. Although in my opinion, and I think Iconic Al shares this opinion, I think peak Elite would be this 93 Donruss Elite with a cracked ice. This is one of the first ones, still numbered to 10,000. And this beautiful cracked ice shine is just a riot of color. This, man, the world was not ready for this amount of shine, I tell you what. I do love the stark difference between the very plain sort of two-tone back, reverses of these cards versus the beautiful, just the front that just pops out at you. Yeah. And so speaking of this brand new technology that was present now in the early 90s, starting in 93, we have Dufex. Now, so here's an early Dufex card. Beautiful, select stars, beautiful green Dufex that's on there. I love this set. And this will be one of the last cards I have as Bonds depicted as a pirate, because we're moving forward chronologically, and we're going to see some Giants cards in a second here. And I will say there is a card or two that I took to display on my desk. I'm a teacher, and so I do display some fun cards for me to look at on my desk. And so I do have another Dufex or two up there. Pinnacle Slugfest, and I have a Pinnacle White Hot from 95 that won't be making it into this video, but that's okay. But let's go ahead and let's put this to support it right there. Okay. And so, moving along, let's get some of the light more directly on there. There we go. That's better. All right, marching along, still in 93, of course, the biggest impact to the hobby, maybe significant-wise for the just hobby history, would be our 93 Finest Refractor. And this card, man, all the cards from this set are just phenomenal. I mean, out of the gate, the first ever refractor in the hobby, the colors, the shine, there is no peel on these things, but there is full etching all over the place. These things are just incredible to get in hand. And I was fortunate enough to get one of the copies that my father had in his collection. This one is in a PSA assigned 8. And it was only graded rather recently, considering, and I believe that this would be a higher grade. It's got perfect corners and edges, and centering is really good, which oftentimes is not the case for these kinds of cards. Just a little bit of hulking on the uniform there, and none of it even goes anywhere near his face, which is what really sort of bothers me sometimes with these cards. But boy, are these just beautiful, beautiful cards. Really significant for the hobby history, an iconic first in the hobby, being the first refractors. And I just feel so lucky and honored that I get to own one of the 241 of the print runs for such a significant hobby card like this. And so we'll put this here. And let's put one of these behind it, just help it. There we go. Help it sit up a little bit. Okay, and then I got a few other smaller ones, but even still, even if they are smaller, they're ones that that I think are really cool and special to me. And so I love this 95 Elite with this beautiful refractor deckled edge. Super cool. These were still at this time, in 95, still numbered out of 10,000. But these were significantly easier to pull. I actually pulled one of these from a pack one time. I pulled the Jeff Bagwell in the 90s as a kid. And of course I was flipping out in the car in the back seat when I pulled it because it's like, oh my gosh, I got an Elite card. But the print runs were generally much lower. They had come down since 93. And so it was part of the reason why these Elites from 94 and onward were a little bit less valuable and less sought after is just because, for the simple reason that they were, well, easier to find proportionally to the rest of the print run in those sets. So let's go ahead and put this one here. But there's still a beautiful, fun cards. Moving on to a couple 96 inserts when they started to really get crazy with some of the technology. And it's like, oh, here's a wooden card. I have shown this one before, the Error card. This is a Leaf Limited Lumberjacks. Beautiful wooden wood grain card. I have a couple of these wood grain cards. I have a soft spot for wooden cards. This one's special though because of the numbering on the back. It's supposed to be out of 5,000, and this one is numbered 5043 out of 5,000. And so, whoops, that shouldn't have been. And of course, I like this because of my dad's Error collection. This is just a really great card that sort of honors that. And I like wooden cards anyway, and so I saw this and had to grab that. Also, we have a beautiful, more Dufex. Here's a 96 Starburst Artist Proof for 96 Pinnacle. This was also from my father's collection. Beautiful, PSA assigned 9. And this was one of those partial parallels. It was not for the entirety of the set. They only did the Starburst and Starburst Artist Proof, as you can see, for 200 of the cards in that set. I think 1 through 100 was Series 1. I think 101 to 200 was Series 2. But they are just gorgeous. I can't unthrone this thing. I gotta pick around this one. I can't take that one off if it's thrown just yet. And some other cool ones too. While we got this wooden card here, we got a couple other wooden cards to show. This one's our Home Run Kings. There is also a gold medallion Home Run Kings, which is way tougher. And also, some of these are the redeemed copy and some of the redemptions. This is actually the redemption exchange card. And so you would pull the exchange card, and you had to fill out your information, send it in, and they would mail you back the actual wooden card. But of course, those had expirations, but most of them were exchanged. So to still find the exchange cards in it, let alone the exchange card gold medallion, is a really tough one to get. So 96 Ultra and 96 Clutch's Choice, we have this little fun acetate window. You can sort of see right through this part. Hold it up to the light, you can kind of see right through them. But just really fun, really great cards from an era that, they don't seem to innovate like that anymore. Another beautiful acetate card, this beautiful Pinnacle Zenith Z-Team. And to get this acetate window, you can see right through. But it also has this beautiful sort of refractor shine. I don't know how they did that with these cards, but man, they're just beautiful. Beautiful cards. All right, and then we got 2 more to finish up, and that's it. So let's go ahead and finish up with this one here. It's a beautiful 97 Topps Interleague Matchup double-sided refractors. One of the very first double-sided refractors we have. Barry Bonds, and on the back here we have Mark McGwire, one from the AL, one from the NL. Topps Interleague Matchup. This was also a gift from Adam. Super generous gift. Lovely card. And I think it's funny. It says, PSA, I guess, considers this the back of the card, but then, technically, I don't know the card numbers on the McGwire side, so I don't know. So I think of it as a Barry Bonds card, first and foremost. I store it kind of like this, so I think of it as this one. But it's just a beautiful, the colors and everything in here, the etching, it is just gorgeous. I do not know why PSA decided to give this a PSA assigned 8. That is their opinion. I may have a different one, but okay. Fine. Still gorgeous. And It's a beautiful, beautiful card. Let's set this one up a little bit. All right, and last but not least, we have a beautiful, beautiful Stadium Club, 97 Stadium Club Matrix, and this is a dot matrix card that when you get the light on this thing, my goodness, this thing really just completely pops. Beautiful parallel, 97 Stadium Club. And this thing is just, I've used the phrase before, but it is a riot of shine. So we'll go ahead and put that one over here for now, but let's go ahead and tilt it so we can, yeah, get that. Something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll get it to shine. We'll get it to do its thing. There we go. That's better. Alrighty. So thank you for coming along with me. And again, this is kind of funny because I don't really anticipate a player run like this. I don't anticipate my Barry Bonds PC really getting much larger than it is right now. You know, I've got a very small select number of cards that I find meaningful, that make me happy when I look at them, and ones that both take me back in time to that time when I was a child collecting with an older brother and a father and going to shows and just getting, you know, just trading baseball cards with each other, coming back from the shows and having these epic trading sessions. And yeah, it's just, and also just a combination of just brilliant designed cards that were, even to this day, some of the most innovative, you know, inspiring designs that would sort of lead the way and define what inserts and parallels are moving forward in the hobby. So anyway, thanks for coming along with the ride. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to hopefully see you in the next video.